like for you as a medicine woman, how do you view connecting your mind to artificial intelligence?
Oh, I will never do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Disco Shaman TV. Today I have a very special guest all the way from Peru. She's a medicine woman, a plant medicine facilitator, Kunti Trejo. Kunti, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Hammad. It's very nice to be here in your podcast. And yeah, it's a pleasure for me to be part of this and to see you again and to have this opportunity to talk after so
It's
long
been
time.
it's been a while. It's been 5 years since we last saw each other's face. And
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years, yeah. I remember one of my most fondest memories with you was while I was sitting in the ayahuasca space and I was going through one of the most intense ceremonies of
I
my
do remember.
life. I actually thought I was on the brink of losing my mind. And at that point, I look in front of me and I see you, and you literally helped me hold it together. Like that support that you gave me in that space. And at that point, it just became a bond. I was like, nah, I'm dying for this woman. You know what I mean? Like she's got, I got her back. So thanks for coming on.
I do remember. I do remember that night, and yeah, it was very intense, but also very beautiful experience. No, very bonding, and we live what we live there.
That's it. That's it. That's it. So let's shoot on to our first question. What what makes a medicine woman? Like in your experience, what makes a medicine woman?
What makes a medicine woman?
Yeah.
Well, I can say that a medicine woman can be a person that has been dedicated to work with the medicines of the earth. No, like for
Mm,
example, in Mexico, when we call a medicine woman, it doesn't mean specifically that works with psychedelics, but a person that works with the medicine of the nature, that has knowledge about the plants, that has
mm,
knowledge about the health and how to help the people to heal through the knowledge of the same nature. Like for example, in Mexico, a medicine woman could it be our grandmothers that they knew the knowledge of how to heal different common illnesses and different situations, no, like even like energetic cleansings and things like that, with the natural
yeah.
medicines that, as I say, doesn't imply all the time psychedelics, no. But now in this time, like there is a much more openness, no, openness and
Yeah.
understanding of the work with the psychedelic medicines, and I think that now is part of that work too, for who is being called to that.
Yeah. Very true. Very nicely put. How did you come across plant medicines?
How did I came across to work with plant medicines?
Yeah. Like what was your first sort of encounter with these plants?
Well, when I was very young, I always had this curiosity, and I was always very interested in what is the psychedelic world. I think that my first approach to the medicine plants was with the cannabis, which opened my eyes to things that I needed to realize in that
Mm,
moment. It was very powerful. It was very helpful. It's one of my favorite master plants. And it opened my eyes to what I was doing with my life at that moment, and the situations of my environment, and excuse me, many things that
yeah.
I needed to see at that moment. And then I went to Palenque Jungle in Mexico, in Chiapas, that is known for the psychedelic mushrooms. and it was like all these things, all this exploration were around my 19s, 20, 21, 22 years old. And it was coming really from my heart, from my intuition, and from my willing to heal also, no? Like I have always had a huge trust in the medicines of the earth, in general, you know, like all the medicine plants. I have always trust more in the natural healings
Mm,
before getting into chemicals and hospitals and all that. And
yeah.
I was looking for my own healing, my own answers. I was guided by my curiosity and my own intuition as always, and yeah, like the magic mushrooms from the Palenque jungle, that is Psilocybe cubensis, I guess.
Yeah.
San Isidros, also we call them, like the golden top, no?
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Very powerful medicine, very beautiful, yeah, like I think that since that moment my life just was not the same anymore. And that didn't mean that I started to work with them right away. It's just that my life was not the same anymore. And then I started to look for the natural medicines, the psychedelic natural medicines that exist in my country. And always in the moment that I felt guided for it, and that the opportunity came, like the opportunities open and came for me to go to the places where the medicine in Mexico grows. And yeah, it was very beautiful, beautiful
Mm.
to explore the medicines in that way.
Have you so you've been working with them for quite a while and have multiple experiences with different variants of psychedelic plants, plant teachers, master plants, and not even psychedelics, just normal plants. Do you have a
Yeah.
do you have a calling to one specific plant? Like do you have an affinity to one plant where it's just like this is the one that you connect with the most?
Well, honestly, I feel really connected with all the medicines that I work with. I feel one with them. It may sound like extreme, but I really feel in harmony and in connection with all of them. Let's say that the one that I use the most in my daily life, in my work, is part of all my ceremonies, and I feel really connected with it, is the tobacco master plant. That is one of the main master plants
Mm.
in the world of the master plants. Like it's it's an amazing protector. It's an amazing guide
Mm.
and an amazing company for all the other medicines and all the other ceremonies. It has its own purpose, and it has its own wild, sorry, not wild, wild too, but
Wild too, yeah, of course.
wild and wide world to work with. Like the tobacco has many ways to be used, ingested, and with different purposes, depending on the kind of healing and the kind of work that you are doing with it. So let's say that the tobacco is the one that I use the most in my daily life and in the ceremonies, but I feel really connected with all of the master plans that I work with. And yeah,
Yeah.
like really connected with all of them. And I enjoy
What
it,
how
like
does how do you
to
work
be with them.
how do you work with tobacco? Like, when you're talking about master plants and working with tobacco and the connectedness, like I understand that there's a certain level of mind within each plant. What's your connection like to the
A level
tobacco?
of
Is
what?
it a certain type of connection to each plant? It's got a level of mind. Is that what you encounter during healing? Do you encounter that there is an intelligence within each plant?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
the tobacco is a very strong spirit.
so you're communicating with the tobacco's intelligence for the purposes of healing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What type of healing does the tobacco help you with? Is there specific types that it's mainly used for?
Well, the tobacco is
Yeah.
a very high spirit. No, it's a very strong spirit. Its nature, let's say, or like its characteristic, it's masculine.
Mm.
It's a huge protector, and is one of the main master plans that has been worked by the ancient people. You know, like for our ancestors in the all parts of the world since ancestral times. So the tobacco master plant has one of the main purposes to be a guide for the human being.
Mm.
As well, is one of the main mediums between the human world and the spiritual world. Which, for example, for the Native American people was the world of their ancestors mainly, the world of the spirit of the nature, places of the world, like they were in total connection as well with the spirits of the nature, but as well with the spirits of their ancestors to guide them through the life.
Mm.
So the tobacco has been used for connecting with the spiritual world, to send our prayers, to manifest our intentions, to clarify our mind, to put our mind in order, to ground ourselves, to be more like grounded in touch with the earth, like in the connection with the energy of the earth. And also, for example, we use the tobacco in company of different ceremonies, like the ayahuasca ceremony goes with the tobacco master plant. Some people works it only by the smoke with the pipe or the mapachos, no, like smoking in the ceremonies. But also there is different ways to use it, no, like that is, for example, by the nose in the way of the rapé, that is the solid powder of the tobacco is more solid, no? Is the powder of the
Yeah.
tobacco mixed with other master plants from the jungle, depending of the mix, no, depending of the tribe and the person that is prepping the medicine. In other
Mhm.
tribes, they use it by snoring, the liquid tobacco that is very similar than the rapé, and also has this property of cleaning all these areas, not the sinus, cleaning out, taking out these mucosities and things that is like interrupting and blocking. But it's not only that, no, like it does a huge work with the other medicine that is working with, is connecting and working in symbiosis and synchronicity with the other spirit of the master plant, which in, for
Mm.
example, in this case, the ayahuasca. But it can be work, for example, I include the work with the tobacco in all my ceremonies, with the cambo, with the wachuma, in different ways, no? And when I'm assisting in the ayahuasca ceremonies also, and my teachers also work it in different way. And also there is the tobacco ceremony that you can drink the tobacco. This is very different way. You gotta
Wow.
be
You
like
drink it.
prep for both. Yeah, it's like it's a ceremony similar than the ayahuasca ceremony, but the tobacco is not really visionary. It doesn't contain the DMT, but works in different parts of the mind, like the subconscious mind, the dream field, where certain
Ah.
information has been stored and like locked down. So sometimes the tobacco is a huge help to work with the subconscious mind, with different kind of healings that is deep healings, no? And it's one of my
Mm.
favorite master plans. It's amazing. I'm not holding tobacco ceremonies drink it, no, like I know people that host amazing tobacco ceremonies. And also, for example, in the tobacco ceremony, is not only the drinking, but also is the snoring and the smoking. It's all about the tobacco,
Yeah.
and it's a very beautiful work, very deep healing with the tobacco, because as well as the cambo, it helps to clean out like flames and deep stuff that is stuck in the organs and inside of our body, that is producing illnesses, emotions, and other
Mm.
cycles. unhealthy cycles inside of them.
I wouldn't mind me some tobacco right now. The way that you've just described it, the way that you've just put it, like it's really bringing me back into when I was in Peru, and you have those moments when you're actually connecting to the plant beyond just you sort of smoking it or ingesting it, but you're actually connecting to a level of intelligence that has been on the planet for thousands of years, and it's accumulated knowledge and information. And in that realm, it's just
Yeah.
like, what else can you teach me? What else can you guide me with? So like for you, when you're working with these plants, what's do they have a message of where humanity is right now and what's going on with the people? Like, do they have any, if you could be an ambassador for the plants and share a message that they want you to share, what would that be?
Well, I feel more like when I'm working with the master plans, I put myself on the service for those bigger spirits, superior spirits, so they can do the work that they need to do inside of each body, inside of each person, while I host the space, no, in the best way, in the most proper way that I can. So the master plant, the spirit of that plant, the spirit of the cambo, for example, that is not a plant, but it's a natural medicine, the spirit of the bufo, in its case, that is also a natural medicine, but it's also coming from an animal.
Yeah.
So they have their own spirit, no? Each one of these medicines has a different spirit. They are different aspects of the nature. They have different characteristics and they have different energies. They can be guiding us in many different ways each time. They have different ways to work, they have different ways to speak, and they have different ways also to heal, to the person. So honestly, like what I do when I'm working with the medicines is to put myself in the service so the bigger spirits can do the work with the person, and I'm there for assisting. I cannot say specifically like a message that they will have for the whole humanity, because honestly, what happens inside of each person is very unique, is very singular, and
Mm,
for example, in my own experience working with different medicines, because I don't work only with one, but work with most of the medicines that I know, um, in general they have the same purpose. It's just that they have different ways, like I do relate the spirits of the master plants a little bit with the in India, in the Vedic knowledge, like they have different
yeah.
gods that
Yeah.
they, for example, Ganesh and
Yeah.
Shiva and Parvati and Mahalakshmi and Saraswati, and all they is different aspects of God. And these aspects are like part of a big whole unity, but they are aspects like that represents singular characteristics and singular things, no, how to call it, archetypes. So with the
Mm,
master plans is kind of the same, no, they are different aspects of the Mother Earth, that is this goddess that has created us, is sustaining us, is giving us the opportunity of experience here, this life. And we know that the Mother Earth is a bigger consciousness, right? So we are living here in this bigger consciousness, and through the master plans and through the spirits of the nature, through the natural medicines, like is the way that she communicates and that she gets in a more direct way to us. But in my own experience, all the medicines, all them, they have the same purpose, that is to reconnect us back as well with the modern nature, with the Mother Earth, with our superior being, with our essence, and with the
mm,
universal consciousness, to put ourselves in alignment so we can be guided in the proper way to walk as a human being.
mm. Yeah. I mean, look, it's wonderful to see that this knowledge is being shared by by channels like you. And when you look at the, for example, the West, do you see like a massive disconnect from the higher spirit, a higher consciousness? And when you see
Yeah,
that
yeah, of
disconnect,
course.
what do you do about that disconnect? Do you just think it's a part of the process, a part of the play, and it's just going to continue on? Or do you think that there is forces, energies that are working in the unseen realms, trying to reconnect them?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what you say is very important. Look, we gotta be real, like in this world, nobody is out of the system. In this world, we are all in this globalization, in this modern world, in this new world of technology, that is new for all of us. In general, the human being has always had this problem uh, of recognizing to be one with God and one with nature. This is because of the nature of our mind, and it's part of the game that of incarnating as a human. Is like part of the game is remembering who we are,
Hmm.
from where are we coming from, and
Who's that?
mainly who we are.
Who are we?
And mhm, exactly. And it has always been like a search for the human being, like Jesus Christ is known that he went to the desert to find his own connection and messages through the fasting, being there
Mm,
in the nature of the desert. That is very powerful. I have lived in deserts sometimes, just for certain time. But the desert is a very powerful place for connecting, meditating, receiving this cosmic energy for the kind of nature that it is, So what I see is that we are all in a huge challenge for the kind of world and life that we live in, like the technology, the pressure, the stress of the world makes us every time more disconnected. We have been in this path of disconnection over millennials already,
mm,
and we're in a very critical point. I think, I consider that there is many people like me that one of our main purposes of keep working with the medicines of the earth and to keep spreading this knowledge and this service is because it's very important to don't lose the human side of the human being. We
mm.
are being drive every time more to the technology, which is not bad, like thanks to the technology we are talking right now from Australia and Peru and connecting with our beloved beings in all the world and making so many beautiful things happening through this new technology and all the good things that is bringing to our lives. But as well, we as human beings, we have always been struggling with this disconnection that we have. If we see the birds, if we see the animals, they have a natural guide, like they never get really disconnect from the Mother Earth, from the Great Spirit, and they live in harmony, even if we realize it or not. They live actually in harmony with the nature and between them, like between them as a society, as a single organism. But with the humans, we don't. That's why we have been destroying the earth, destroying each other's, and we are getting into a very critical point of the human being, where
Yeah.
recovering our connection with the Mother Earth is being very important, is being actually primordial for our survival.
Mm,
Because we can't forget that we are part of this earth. We can't forget that we depend totally on the balance of the Mother Earth. We depend on their food, the water, the air, the animals, everything. So we know that the Earth, like the planet, is in a very critical situation, and we as humans, we are also in a critical situation. It's our planet, it's our Mother Earth, it's the way that we live.
yeah.
And in the past, the master plans were not really available so much. It was most something that you had to do huge pilgrimage and or like to become a shaman, to be in contact with that, like it was something like very difficult actually to access. And these times is more open, is more accessible for the human being. And in my own perception, I think that it's more available now because we need it now more than ever, maybe, maybe in the
Yeah,
past
yeah.
it's very necessary, and we don't know in which ways like the ancestors of different parts of the world help themselves through the use of the master plants. But right now, like for example, what it was tagged as something bad, as a drug or something like that, it's been found that is actually very beneficial, no? Like the work with the magic mushrooms, the
Yeah.
microdoses, the therapeutical mushrooms. So we are finding all these beautiful benefits from the medicines from the Mother Earth, and I think it's because also we are in a huge need as human beings of reconnecting, of getting back to ourselves, and um, and to understand more what is to be a human in this earth, no?
Mm,
And I think that with the humans we have been created as guardians of the paradise that is this Mother Earth, no, this planet. But we lost our shit. We lost
yeah.
the guide.
Do,
We
so
lost the purpose. And
you you've been seeing recently how there's this new technologies that are coming, which is allowing microchips to interface with the brain, right? And this
yeah.
pretty much gives us access to the internet and faster processing power for downloading information. And we're
Mhm.
going towards this point where you're gonna have the choice. Do you want to have this chip implanted in your brain, and would you do it? Like for you as a medicine woman, what do you how do you view connecting your mind to artificial intelligence?
Oh, I will never do it. I will never do it. Honestly, I think, I mean, in the way that I see the world, I see this as part of the exploration of the human being. Like we the humans, we are very curious, and we're always exploring the possibilities. So this is an exploration of the possibilities, but it's in our choice if we want that in our brain or not. In my own case, I don't want any intervention in my brain. I don't want any other voice or guidance more than from the Great Spirit and the spirits of the Mother Earth.
But
And I trust my channel.
could you see the AI as a voice of Mother Earth? That the AI is a creation of the intelligence of Mother Earth itself and manifesting through technology, and maybe it says, hey, you want to merge? Could you see it as that?
I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know. Like honestly, I don't know if it's coming from the Mother Earth. This kind of intelligence. Um, I don't feel that like all the advances that we are getting as humans, they are bad. What I feel is that we the humans, we have this tendency of using the things for the wrong use. That's the dangerous
yes.
part for me. That's most the dangerous part, because that's what has happened all the time with the humanity. Actually, with the kind of technology that we have in our hands in these times, all the technology that the governments own and that we don't even know that they own, we could save this world and save people from starvation and recover the purity of the water and recover the purity of the air and many things. We could change the world with the technology that we have right now, but it's not being used for that. It's been used for manipulation, destruction, war, and implantation of fake realities in the people's mind.
Mm,
So that's the danger thing, that like unfortunately the human being is misguided all the time. Is misguided with the dark forces of, like, I don't know, like taking the world to different place than to a better place, you know, like
When
the
when you
fact
say
of
when you
yeah,
say
tell me.
when you say taking the world to a different place, do you mean as in like this world, or do you mean as like a parallel reality or another Earth? What do you mean?
What I mean is that usually like the resources that we have, no, are using for manipulating the people for the interest of the people that is in the power of the governments and all of those that rules the world, you know, and that's usually what's happening, that is used for this finality, you know, for these goals.
Mm,
It's not being used actually for making this world, this reality, not a parallel reality, this world that we are all living in is not being improved by these things for real. Because, you know, like we can have a huge technology right now, but the Mother Earth is being destroyed, is being ripped off at the maximum level, and that means that we keep in this connection, we keep living in the illusion of the ego of the human being that is always like in like I don't know, in other energies, you know, like competition and war and I don't know. But yeah, for me, like I don't think that the technology and all these new improves that the humanity is doing is bad. What is the important thing is what are we doing with them? Why are we using all these? You
our
know,
intention.
you can use
Yeah.
your phone. Yeah, you like for example, we all have cell phones right now. You know, like even kids, they have their own cell phone, and we can use it for losing our time and putting a bunch of crap in our minds with all the information is there, or we can look for what is useful there for our lives and for
Yeah.
improving it. We can
True.
find a lot of useful, beautiful things that other humans are sharing online for improving our lives, you know, for helping each other, even that we are in different parts of the world, to dream, to to inspire whatever that we are synchronizing with, you know. But we can use it for whatever, like just for losing our time, for losing our lives, for losing I don't know, you know, for entertaining. And
Yeah.
so it depends
You can.
on how we use the things that we have. And as well with
Yeah.
like I mean, the same with the tobacco, you know, like the tobacco is one of the biggest master plans, the most amazing master plans that we have in the planet. But the cigarettes is a manipulation of the system over the master plan of the tobacco, for example, to create an addiction and to twist the real use of the master plan. And in that way, the human is using the tobacco master plan against their will. It's not being used like, I mean, like the
Mm.
industry of the cigarettes and the use of being like smoking cigarettes when you are worried and all this is a part of the manipulation of information, you know. It's
Mm.
actually like the people has been teach this master plan exactly in the opposite way that is meant to. And this is all with a purpose, and the purpose is the disconnection. Why the system did that is because it was very difficult to disattach the human being from the tobacco, because the tobacco has been a master plan that has been working with the human being over millennials. It has been its
Mm.
guide and the kind of the grandfather of the humanity with millennials, even like in pouches and medicine pouches from mummies that has been found in the ice, like from 1,000 years ago, has been found things like
Hitting the pipe.
tobacco and
Yeah.
the mushrooms and things inside of the bags, like of millennials, you know, like millennials, like very ancient people. So it has been with us, and it was very difficult to disattach the human being from the use of the tobacco master plan. So what the system did is to twist information, no, like and teach the wrong way. the people. So in that way, the people is misusing the tobacco instead of using it for its own well, for directing their mind, for directing their prayers, for connecting with
Yeah.
different spirits, is feeding other energies through that use. So that's why I mean, like it's more of how do we use the things, in which consciousness are we moving ourselves in the moment that we are using those things. And getting back to your question, like in my own case, I will never put the implantation, no, like even that it can be useful in some ways, but in this life that I have right now, like I don't want any intervention between
Mm.
like my channel, no, like in my channel, because for me that's the most precious thing. That's the most precious thing that I have, no, that is the connection with my intuition and with the great spirit in the way that I feel it inside of me, and I will not like any interference in that, any interference,
Don't
because
don't
I
you think
think that
you'd get more powerful with the AI? Like, do you think that having that on tap, having all the information on the internet in your mind ready to go, don't you think that would make you more powerful than being connected to the great spirit or being connected to your intuition?
yeah, it can be, no, but like for this person, like I prefer to don't change that. No, it's the same
Yeah.
what I feel with the natural medicines, no, like honestly, and I give thanks to God for my health, no, but I barely had to use anything that is different than natural medicine for living a good life, and in that way I just trust that I keep living a good life in the way that I have been created, no. I do
Mm.
think that what you say, no, that you can improve a lot and get way smarter. But by other side, you are putting an antenna in your brain that it can be influenced by different energies, different forces that we don't know, like we don't know where are they coming from. And by having something inside of your brain, you are giving totally permission to use your channel for whatever other interference can be doing, like I see this in that way because even taking away the fact of the technology and having a chip or something, we the humans have already a huge fight inside of our minds to
Yeah.
recognize like the voices that we hear
Yeah.
there, like what's our own voice, what's the recording of our programmation of our society or family, or sometimes we get weird voices in our mind, that is driving us to bad decisions, to bad
Mm.
emotions, to hate others and things like that. We do have that fight every day as humans, and this is interferences, like and as much as you feed these interferences, they are going to be like available to mm, to be interacting through you. And so we have to be, for example, through the meditation and other practices, we can be putting ourselves back in center, to be able to listen to our own voice and to distinguish from those voices, no. But if you have an implantation, is literally an antenna that can be used by other people
True. True. You've pretty much
to
given over
put
the keys
whatever
of your
they
mind.
need to, and well,
So
like at least what I know, yeah.
that, yeah, that, I mean, that's a really good way to sort of move into our second question. I know we've had like 100 different questions within that question, but you just got to let it flow sometimes. So
Yeah, I know.
have you experienced, like, when you're in the space of administering plant medicines, particularly ayahuasca and psychedelics, have you experienced dark shamans? dark sorcerers, like dark healers in that space?
Yeah. Like honestly, I have had a different experiences, no, in the years of working with the master plans and these like psychedelic things. It's very delicate. It's not something to play with, and yeah, like there is always interferences. As I said, like we need to be very clear inside of us to distinguish what are we wanting to channelize to this world, because many things can be passing through the channel of our mind, but we gotta be the ones who decide what is going to take over. So I have had some experiences with I won't say like dark shamans. It's just like sometimes as human beings, we lost some integrity and we lost some for like there's a lot of temptations of the power and things like that. And sometimes like there is shamans that like others that they have kind of commit themselves to those energies that are working through them, that they are not positive, you know. It's also canalization, it's also a choice, because we as human beings, we always have a choice. We have the free will, and that is the most important, I think, no. And in that
Yeah,
free
yeah,
will, sometimes like I have seen in my own experience that sometimes like there is very good, very powerful shamans that unfortunately like kind of is being tempted by other kind of spirits, and I don't know for which reasons, but in the world, in the dimensional world of the medicines, like there is a lot of interferences too. There is a lot of interferences. It's not only the master plant spirits that they are there, but they can be plenty of interferences. That's why, for example, the shamans usually they do a work of protection of the space, and they are like protecting the space all the time. So inside of the ceremony field of the ceremony room, and inside of the work that they are doing, other energies cannot get inside and interfere. That is, for example, one of the purpose of the protections, the arcana protection and other things that the good ayahuasqueros do, because there is many interferences, there is many energies, there is some angelical superior energies, and there is some other that is more four dimensional and not always positive, it's a very also extends world, that has different kind of manifestations. And as I said, like I think that about like good shamans, like or like dark shamans or not, it's more a choice that the person has done in their life. Like sometimes the person has commit to work with some energies that they are not really positive, and they are guiding the person, and sometimes the person get confused, or is actually willing to follow that guidance, and at the end it's a matter of choice of what are you
yeah,
allowing to work inside of you, what are you allowing to channelize through your own energy, and which is the purpose for that, so in
yeah,
alignment with the higher goal, um is different to get lost, like. So I think
yeah,
that the shamans that they work like that they do a good work with the light is people that is aligned with the higher goal, with the goals of the medicines. And as I said, all the medicines, all of them, they have the same goal. They want us to be in alignment, they want us to be good, they want us to be happy, as same as God, like they want us to be in this unity within ourselves, and as society, as human beings, as organism. And they teach us in different ways how to get there. And I say in different ways because each one is a world inside. So it may teach you in a different way that they teach me, because we need to integrate different lessons inside of all.
True, true. Do so. One second. Where it starts getting a bit dangerous is when these sort of dark shamans who have committed themselves to energies that aren't working for the light for positive means, rather manipulation, destruction, and extortion, whether it be your energies, whether it be your financial means. When these shamans start operating inside retreat centers that are offered to tourists or Westerners, have you encountered that? Like, have you seen any dark shamans operating within certain retreats that people don't know that these are dark necessarily, but you've seen they're like, all right, this guy isn't there for the right purposes, or this woman.
Well, yeah, like of course that, like, I can say that in the world of the shamanism and the work with the ayahuasca and all this, and it's more known in the world of the ayahuasca, no? Because what happens is that the ayahuasca is coming from the Amazon jungle and has been developed. The use of the master plant ayahuasca and chacuruna has been developed by the same people that has lived in the tribes in the jungle. No, like, let's remember that we are all human beings, and the Amazonian jungle, is a very, very rough place to live, where like all the tribes is like really survivors, no? So they have this very rough energy, and I think like it became part of the use of the master plans, um to learn how to use the energy, to manipulate the energy with the medicine, as well to protect themselves, as well to hurt others, you know. And then from there, like a lot of things can happen, a lot of variations of the work can happen. In my own experience, I consider myself like very lucky and very protected by the Great Spirit, that I'm always protected in the work that I do, and guided with the right persons to do the work that I need to do. But I do
Mm,
have seen like just things that happens inside of ceremonies, and things that can be unexpected and
like
strong, and
what
like
what's
also
the
like ceremonies where the energy is really mixed, like different scenarios.
what's the this is question three. So what's the craziest ceremony you've experienced where something's come in the room, or you know, so we'll do one for like positive experience and for dark experience.
Look, honestly, like, how to say it, you never know what's going to happen inside of a ceremony, you know, like and all different kind of catharsis and processes can happen, because it's part of what the medicine is working and is doing inside of each one. But for example, at most at the beginning, and I think for the kind of circumstances and environment, or like that we were working in those times, no, in the center that I was working with, and like that, yeah, the energy could be more chaotic, no. It was big groups and a lot of mixed energies, and one retreat and the other to recover, and all the medicine workers and the shamans, they need their time to clean out all the energies that we are like absorbing, and cleaning out from the energetical work that we do. And that makes a huge difference, you know. So in the way that I work now, and with the people that I work, I feel that we do an amazing work, where usually everything is protected, even with the cathartic moments that can happen. That is not mandatory, but that can happen inside of a ceremony room. As I say, that is part of the healing. I feel that with the persons that I work in the way that I do my work is usually all protected, no, and I don't see like bad things happening, honestly. But in my early stages, working with different groups and different places and different teachers also, I did have strong experiences. And for example, I remember once that I think just the things were not right anymore, that energetically it needed a lot of alignment and tension, no? And we kept attending groups, and also it was not a very good filtering for matching the groups in that place. And sometimes
Yep.
there was a lot of people and a lot of mixed energies, and that made the work like way more difficult, were way more challenging too.
Yeah. It
And
would be
yeah,
so
like
much coming
just
in.
I remember, yeah, and then there is different sensitivities of the people, and there is people that naturally are way more open in their auras and in their sensitivities, and that the process of another person can be like really traumatic and like
Yeah.
affecting them. So happens inside of the ceremony. But yeah, like sometimes I have seen situations where things get a little bit out of control, and it makes the work way more difficult,
What do you mean by out
and
of control? Like what's out of control?
um that, for example, one person can start to get wild, and then we need to help that person to get back to the center to control itself, while help the other people to don't get
Panic.
so much into the panic and scare. But for example, it can be ceremonies where it's screamings and things like that, and of course that is very strong, and but I'm very happy that doesn't happen to me anymore. It's just like a kind of it was experiences, and in the way that we work now, and actually, like, I mean, in these years here in Peru, like, just like we keep learning, I keep learning. Why am I talking about a we? But I keep learning, I keep improving, I keep trying to do my best, and the universe keep providing me of the opportunity of work with the right people, like the ones that they are like more in synchronicity or alignment with the kind of work that I do, and the energy, the real work that we are trying to do, that is really helping the
Yeah.
people, like through what we do. But yeah, like I have seen just chaotic scenarios when the things can go out of control, and then the situation, like, it gets really rough, like mostly for the people that is like in a very vulnerable moment in their own process, and they don't know how to cope with the explosion of the other person, or the um, catharsis that the other person can
Yeah.
be experiencing. hmm
It can be very
but it's all part.
traumatizing. Very, very traumatizing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I remember I was in a
yeah, it's
ceremony
all part of the
once.
work. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
tell
me-
me.
I was in a ceremony once, and my brother was there, my dad was there, my mom was there, and they were all new to the whole ayahuasca scene. Remember when I brought him over in Second Valley? And there was a lady next to
hmm
me, and this was nighttime, 7 o'clock, pitch black dark, and we're just about to go into ceremony, and we blow the candle out. Everyone's had their ayahuasca. And you know that tense moment right before the ceremony starts, the medicine sort of starts taking place into your body. Everything's really quiet, and I just hear the most loudest scream I've ever heard in my life. Just like ah! And this lady just like claps her fingers like this, and she starts saying some sort of prayer or something, and she sits up and her hands go like this, and she's like da, 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 da. She just, I don't know what the hell she was doing, but I was fucking scared. I was like, bro, fuck this. this is too much, man. And I'm trying to protect my family and everything. You know what I mean? Like it was it
Yeah.
and honestly, like even after that, in other ceremonies, in other mushroom ceremonies, that has sat with me. That scream. It's always there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That can be really traumatizing because we're in a very vulnerable space, no? Yeah, usually, for example, like in my ceremonies, no, like a part of the retreats, as I told you, like I attend personally, like the people, no, like that contact me. Um, and usually I attend one by one and small groups to protect the
Okay.
energy, to prevent
Mm,
of like weird things, no? For example, here at my beautiful house, I have my ceremonial space where I attend the people combo. Usually is one by one, and sometimes it's two friends or like a couple or three persons, small groups just. And also, for example, for Bufo, also my attention is personal, is one by one. I take a lot of time to speak with the people before, during, after, and also with the ayahuasca ceremonies that I organize and the retreats, like we try to keep it in small groups in order that we can take care of the persons, no? And as I said, no, like it's just
yeah.
that I don't want to be mentioning names and like that, because like it's just unprofessional. But when we met, in those moments when we met, like I mean, the way that I was learning in these places, like hosting the groups was a huge teaching. And it's just like when I left that, when I quit from working there, it was because I realized that that was not the way for me to do the work with the medicines, that I could not uh, participate on that anymore. And for me, what makes a difference, as I say, like, is that, for example, in the ayahuasca ceremonies, in the retreats, we have small groups. We take the time to interview the persons. We take the time to speak with them, and also after and during. And for example, when I attend a person for Cambo, for Bufo personally, like we speak before, we open the space for the person to express what is their problem, why they are like having this calling with the medicine, like, in order that we can give that proper attention. Because as I say, like, each one has different traumas, each one has different illnesses, each one has different troubles, and they had different manifestations. And sometimes, like, these things can, as I say, like, spontaneously go out of control, is normal. And for example, like in Bufo, I don't know, sometimes it looks like a catharsis. Not always, honestly. It's not something that happens like all the time, no. But if it happens, sometimes it's because it's necessary to happen.
Yeah.
But for
Mm,
example, that's why I don't hold groups for Bufo, for example, like giving many person at the same time, because we don't know if the reaction of one person that is part of their own healing, their own journey, that doesn't mean that it's negative. But we don't know if the catharsis of that person will affect negatively the other person that is in another process, in another sensitivity, in another moment of their life. So, for example, the ayahuasca ceremonies is more group ceremonies. So, what we try to do in our retreats is to see that the energy of the group matches, to have the time to speak with them apart, like to go getting to know the situation of the person. And for example, with the shaman also, like I translate, I speak a lot, like, about what are we doing, what are we, how are we helping this person, what is the problem that the person is trying to solution, or the illnesses and like that. So we can go like doing a more accurate work and a more like specific work for each person, giving the proper attention. And also, for example, knowing like, I don't know, like if a person is coming with severe traumas of this and that, I will be aware that that person has that process. So in case that some process starts during the ceremony, we know that we need to attend that person in this or that way. You know what I mean? It's kind of,
Yeah.
it's very different than when we met, for example. Like it was not really a filter for matching the groups, for it was not really a good process for interview the person and to get to know which kind of guest and which kind of situation is the person dealing with in
Yeah.
order, yeah, in order to protect the energy of the group, and sometimes, for example, there is places, and I'm not coming from any judgment, like I just feel that each one is doing in this world what it has to be doing, and we all learn from what we do. But for example, like if a place has a big group of persons, well, it's obviously that it's a little bit more difficult to manage the energy if there is 20 persons back to back, like next to each other, with the purge buckets like super near that you can like drop your purge in the other person like so easily in the dark, that makes a huge difference.
Mm.
Because we have to remember, like each one is a world inside, and what happens during the ayahuasca and it starts to make effect inside of us is that it's going to open all of our energetic field. In that openness, the shaman can observe, can be in contact, can get into the energy of the person and be like connecting to know like what this person is, which kind of Icaro, which kind of master plan spirit am I going to call to clean out, I don't know, the liver or the energy of the person or this or that. It's necessary that openness for the work in general, for the shaman to be able to get in, for the person to be able also to observe what is happening in their inner world. But when we're open in our energy, we're more sensitive, and the other persons, they are also open, so we can be way more perceptive to the energies that is moving, that can, like, I mean, we all have things to heal, and some things
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
heavier than others, and sometimes you can feel those energies. But for example, in the work that we do, I consider that we do an amazing work with the protection of the space and the use of the tobacco master plant as part of the protection process, and we do many other things, no, like sometimes I ceremony and I go and into each room I leave the proper flower bath for them to have it before and get into the ceremony, like with that layer of protection of the master plants. And then I also have other tools that I can use, and the shaman has plenty of tools in his inside of him. um, and in that way, yeah, inside of him, and in that way we kind of I feel that we do a very beautiful work, like of protecting the energy of the ceremonies,
Yeah.
like honestly. And this I don't say for promotion of my work or like that, but honestly, those times of crazy traumatic events of the ceremony is long ago that I don't experience them, thanks God. And even that we can have some catharsis processes and everything, just in the way that we work, I don't feel like evil interferences or uh, that people goes bad out of the ceremonies that we hold or that the work that we are doing. By the opposite, like we try to give the best
Yeah.
attention, and that the person can really do a proper work in the meantime that they have dedicated to themselves. Because for me, like, um, I know how hard it is sometimes to take the decision. I know how hard sometimes it's like to find the time, the money, the space for ourselves to do this kind of works, and because we want to heal, because we really want to be better for us, for the lifetime that we have, for the persons that we love, and that they are connected to us, no, that for those that they depend on us, for example, our kids. And and what I mean, like our purpose is to help the person that the time that they have dedicated to themselves, that they can do the best work, and they can have the best approach to their healing
Mm,
process that we can provide. Mm.
yeah. I mean, that's it's great to see that you're doing work with that type of due diligence and having such a thorough screening process before people are coming in, knowing what they want, what they need, and how to be able to cater and facilitate to that. Because I've noticed that, even me working in the jungle with different centers, that the second there's a commercial interest, the ability for greed to creep in can come in. And that's when people start getting, 20, 30 people in one ceremony room. And then you have the shaman over there where it's like, how are they meant to cope with all this energy? Yeah, maybe they're doing it back to back, but is that person that needs the attention getting the attention that they need? So I've noticed sometimes you can actually leave. I've left. I've been lucky actually. I've left all the centers and all the retreats very good and very positive and very great. And I've just been lucky to have such a great interaction with all the teachers there, and they've been my greatest teachers. Like I don't even though I'm so far away from the plant medicines now, and I'm not connected to them in that way, I'm still connected through dreams, through just natural intuition. And I think that's where I'm at now, where I'm learning like, hey, Hammad, you don't need to be in Peru to connect. Because I was going to move to Peru. You remember that?
Wow, wow. No, I
Yeah,
didn't knew that you were going to move to Peru.
right before the lockdown, I was going to move to Peru
Oh, oh,
because
wow.
I wanted to go deeper into research with ayahuasca and do more dietas and learn more about shamanism. But right when I was about to leave the country, COVID hit, all the borders locked. And then I was just like, fingers crossed. I was like, what the hell do I do now? Like, I so badly wanted to connect and learn with ayahuasca. And I remember
Yeah.
my final ceremony before I left Peru, ayahuasca, there was this interaction I had with this intelligence, and it said one thing to me. It said, Hammad, you don't need to drink me to connect to me. You're always
Mm-hmm.
connected.
Totally.
So I like to like look back and be like, what, did it know the lockdown was going to come down, and then it knew my journey, what I needed? You know what I mean? And now that I'm back, I'm that's what I'm learning, and that's what I'm trying to cultivate, where it's just like, come on, maybe just you have to find your own way for me, because I have no other choice. I can't go to Peru. What the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And also like it always comes a moment in our life to be able to do more work with the medicine, no, like to be able to do our dietas and like that. And something that I have learned is like to be patient, you know, like to be
Mm,
patient with the process, the same life. For example, like you know that I'm a single mother, no, and you have your kid also. So for example, when we have our kids, we have different responsibilities with life, no, and it's not that we just like, oh, like I'm going to just fully dedicate myself to the ayahuasca, because I mean we have other things to do. But we always have like our moments in life to do the proper work with the master plans, to do the dietas that we want to do, that we need to do. And it comes with the time, it comes in its proper moment. And kind of, as the ayahuasca told you, like you don't need to be drinking the ayahuasca to connect to the consciousness of the ayahuasca. As well with the tobacco, no, like I was explaining to one of my friends, um, that sometimes in the process practices with the tobacco, because the tobacco is a very, very strong also to integrate in the physical body. Like there is times that we can't physically do it, but when we have connected with the spirit of the master plant, we can call it through our intention. We can meditate on that. We can
Yeah.
connect with the intelligence of that plant, and also with the dietas. For example, the ayahuasqueros that they have diet over years, over months, like what happens is that they can connect, like they have dedicate so much time to connect with the spirit of that plant, like sacrificing, like lacking of foods and things, in order to connect with that spirit, that then the connection is there. And when they are doing the work inside of the ceremony, they intentionally connect with those spirits, with those energies, with those guidances, for doing the work that they do inside of the ceremony. So they connect with that intelligence, with that energetic field of the master plan, in order to access to the information that they need, for example, no? And in the same way, it's not that we need to be like all the time, like doing the medicines to be in contact with them. um, and now, like, you are there in your life in Australia, and that doesn't mean that it's not going to come a time where you are going to go deeper with that, but
Yeah.
what I was saying is that we all have a time, it comes those moments, and it
Yeah.
comes in the
It's
proper moment, and also with the proper people. Mm-hmm.
right, right. And I think we just got to respect that, time is taking its own course, and just respect that, yeah, the people that you're going to be doing it with will also come. And
Mm.
that brings me to our last question. And as a medicine woman, what so for example, you have, someone in Australia or the Western civilization. They don't know much about shamanism, they don't know much about plant spirits, but they have this part of themselves that wants to connect deeper to the intelligence and learn directly from them. How do they do this? What piece of advice as a medicine woman can you give them to connect to plant intelligences?
Meditation. Yeah, through the meditation is a very powerful way. Of course, look, the thing is with the master plans is that, for example, once that you build that connection, you have that connection. Also, is like our muscles, like if we if we don't use them, like is weaker than if we are
Yeah.
using our muscles and training our muscles. So it's a matter of reinforcing that connection. But I can say that, yeah, like um it's better to have
Mm.
like some experience with the plant, in order to know what it is, or like how did that feel, that connection, how, like, I don't know, like, I'm not very visionary person when it comes to psychedelics. I wish I was. But some people, for example, will see physically, or like the image, like they will see the spirit of the plant, so they can remember that image, like how that spirit was looking, how was the color of that, like shape, or like how was the voice of that spirit. And you have that reference inside of you to connect. It's more difficult when you don't have, the reference, like to connect with
Yeah.
that. For example, I remember one of my friends, that was initiated with the tobacco, with the rapé, and connecting with this master plant in that way, could feel like really the voice of the tobacco in his ayahuasca ceremonies, like kind of he got his kind of connection, like he could feel it very clear. And that is a huge reference, when the person wants to connect back. with that spirit to ask, for example, for the guidance. You can ask the tobacco spirit, even if you don't have a mapacho in your mouth or rapé in your nose, you can meditate and call upon that spirit of the master plant of the tobacco and ask for the guidance, or ask for the strength, you know. And other way, for example, like because yeah, like this kind of world of the medicines and like that is not in all the world just the same situation, no. So I know that there is a lot of places in the world where the people is more trapped, no, in more city life and more disconnected from nature. So for me, like, and this is also from my own experience, like to try to be in contact with the nature. We don't need only the spirits of the master plants to guide us, but we can go to the nature to reconnect with the spirit of the trees, with the rivers, with the mother nature itself, and ask there for the guidance. We also can have certain connection with different plants that they are not specifically psychedelic. For example, we can have certain, I don't know, like strong connection with the ginger. We can have a strong
Mm.
connection with the ruby plant. We can have a strong connection with the rosemary, and this can be very useful. Not what I mean is that not only like strong master plants are guiding us, also simple plants that they are in our garden, that they are very accessible to us. They are part of the nature. They are all, like in my own experience, all the plants, even the grass, every single leaf and flower from the mother nature is medicine, and has created with one purpose. And actually most of them, they have many healing properties. It's not only for one thing. It's like holistic, like integral. And we can connect with the spirit of plants that we feel more connected, more related, and ask for their guidance also. And we can, for example, ingest the ginger, no, like ingest the ginger, like ginger tea, chewing the ginger, and connecting with that spirit, trying to
Mm.
establish a communication with it, trying to feel what that spirit or what that plant is the energy for, or like is useful for you, no. So because sometimes, for example, we have more affinity with one plant one than with another. Is one said, for example, that usually what you need for healing yourself, like usually is near to you, like the plant is over
Ah.
there. It can be in your garden. Yeah. And for example, in my own experience, I remember like once I was in Costa Rica long
Yes.
ago with my kid traveling, and I got really sick, and I didn't knew what it was, because I mean this was a new area of the world for me. And honestly, like living traveling, like I may not be in that moment that I got sick, like I don't know, well nourished, or like in the best moment of my physical body, and something bite me. And it was something that in Costa Rica is very common, and it's called papalomoyo, that is like a bacteria that is your flesh, and it can kill you. I mean, it's very aggressive. It creates horrible symptoms. And I got that shit, and I didn't knew what it was, but I was like, just I was sure that I had something in my body, that an antigenous. I felt like this is something mm, attacking my body. This is an antigenous, but I don't know what it is. I don't know where is it taking me, because at the beginning you don't see any symptoms like physically, of this thing, like just you feel horrible. You have headaches and you lack of energy, your body's struggling, like you feel shit. But then these things, like a big volcano of pus starts to grow, and then you can see, oh, it's this thing. The thing is that I didn't knew what I had. And I remember that I was driving over the places. I mean, I was living in a place with a lot of nature, in Costa Rica, over Puerto Viejo and this beautiful area of the Caribbean. That is very rough. Also, the weather, no, it's like
Yeah.
this jungle, tropical, hot, and bunches of
Mm.
bugs and stuff. So I remember that I I would be feeling horrible, and I was driving just with the like the last strength that I will have, no, to get my groceries and to do things. And in the roads, in the jungle that I was driving, I would see certain plants that they were shining more, that they were calling me for real, no, and I knew some of those plants from Mexico too. And for example, one of them, we call in Mexico coralillo, and is used as an antibiotic. It's very strong antibiotic. And this plant was shining for me in the bushes. And I was like, I think maybe it's calling me. Maybe I need that, no? And I start to realize that there was certain plants that they will be more attractive to me. And I was alone. I didn't have money for going to a doctor or anything. I was traveling with my kid and I was really sick in that moment. And these plants were showing, were appearing more like, I don't know. It sounds crazy. It doesn't happen to me all the time, but I was in a need,
Mm.
no? So they were kind of like showing up, and I was like, I didn't even knew what I had until these things started to come out. Like I had still the scarf over here, I guess. These
Yeah.
things like big volcanoes of pus started to come out, and I started to ask the people, and the people helped me like to understand right away, like because it's common that it happens there. No, it's seasonal and also very common. They say that it's a mosquito bite. Whatever it be is just like a really horrible thing in your body. And I start to ask everyone, and mostly to the Afro local people that lives over there because they are survivals of those areas. No, so I start to ask to them like, what's the natural remedies that you use for this thing? Because other people told me that you need like 40 shots, like a chemotherapy of chemicals that will even like make your hair fall down, like in a bunch of chemicals for killing that out of your body, and you get to, like, you gotta be in a quarantine. And I was like, yeah, no. I'm not going to do that to myself, no. So I always have had this huge trust in the mother nature, and I start to illness, and it was the plants that they were calling me. They were the plants, and I was drinking them. It was bitter as fuck. It was like the most bitter plants, but so effective. I was fasting and drinking them all the time. Like I was making big teas and many other things, no, like curcuma, like turmeric, all other things that I was putting in my arm, exterior and internal, and only with plants I could heal myself in that occasion
That's
with something
amazing.
that it was very dangerous. It was very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like actually, the people was like, "Girl, like you cannot play with this. Like you can die." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, but I don't want to get 40 shots. Like I don't want to get into a chemo treatment. I will do it first in the way that I feel that is better with the nature." So, for example, in that way, I connected with these plants that I was needing. That was
Mm.
what created the connection, you know?
True. True.
It was this tree that we have in Mexico also that has like a skin that falls down, that is like a copper skin, like it's beautiful, and they have it there also, and it's one of the medicines to heal that thing. And I was kind of like just feeling them, feeling their calling, feeling them that I need them, like and so I did it. I started to pick them up and heal myself with that. It was hard, it was long, but for me that experience was a huge proof of the connection that we have with the nature, with the spirits of the nature, and that they are there for us, like just very near sometimes to help us to heal different things
Yeah.
that we as human have. So my advice, for example, for the people that is not having like so much access to medicine plants and all these kind of things, and like the mother nature is there for us. And if you have national parks, if you have desert or beach or natural areas that can be more near from where you live, just take the time to go there. Take the time. And if you have some illnesses that you want to try um, to improve with the natural medicines, you can also get into meditation or get into meditation in the nature and ask if there is some plant that can help you for that, and then, for example, sometimes I get messages and then I search online what is it for, in order that I can like check if what I'm getting is real, no, like I
Mm,
mean, like if it's
cross check it.
accurate. And
Yeah.
and you can go, like, I mean, like, our connection with the nature and with the great spirit is for free. We don't have to pay for that Wi-Fi.
No subscription.
Is there no subscription? So we just gotta put
That's beautiful.
ourselves sometimes there in the nature. Yeah, like we need to go to the mother nature and sit with her, like for example, here in the Andes, we have the mountains. We don't have all these places. For me, it's a sanctuary. It's a sanctuary of the nature. You can find yourself in the peak of those mountains, like the same nature helps you to find yourself, helps you to find your answers, helps you to clarify your mind with the wind, with washing your face in
Mm,
the river of the water, and the water of the river.
mm.
And yeah, and we have that, like if you as a person are needing for some connection with the modern nature, like look for it. Is there for you, is there for providing of the energy that you need, like, and the medicines that you need. And sometimes, as I say, like we don't need something that complex as ayahuasca or bufo. Sometimes we just need something more simple but with discipline, like to heal these conditions of our body, sometimes it's conditions of our mind.
Yeah.
And I feel that the answer is there, like in the contact with the nature and into finding that connection that is within ourselves, that, as I say, like it's a free Wi-Fi. We have it there, like with our intention, we can connect with the mother nature and with the um, cosmic universal energy, and they are going to provide us from all that we need.
That's that's beautiful. I think that's you couldn't have said it any better. That sometimes it can just be in your own backyard. The plants are there. Go out into nature, dip your toes um, into the water, put your water in your face, the air, everything. All of it has the properties to bring out the answers that are already deep within you. And
Yeah,
it's just refreshing knowing that no matter where you are on the planet, you can connect. That you don't have to be in a certain place or a certain location. You can just connect.
yeah,
And you know what? I think that was beautiful. Let's take it a wrap from there. And ladies and gentlemen, Kunti Trejo, thank you very much for your knowledge, your wisdom. And if you guys want, please check out the links below. I'll leave all the details. If you head down towards Peru and you're looking to try out some plant medicines, check out Conti. And I got a personal vouch. She's awesome. She's very proficient in her work and really good space holder. So thank you very much. Catch you next time on Disco Shaman TV. Like and subscribe. Take care, guys.